So shall we start, sir?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening to one and all. Myself, G. Nagaraju, on behalf of this program team, welcome you all to last day of AICT sponsored a 1 week national level online short-term training program on innovative teaching and learning methods for inspiring students. From 18th to 23rd December 2020, organized by ECE Department, SRKR Engineering College, BVRM, Andhra Pradesh, India. It is a great pleasure and honor to welcome today's resource person for this session, Dr. B.V. Ramana Reddy Garu. I also feel honored to invite Sri S.V. Rangaraju Garu, Secretary and Correspondent of SRKR Engineering College and management members of SRKR Engineering College Association, Sri K. Jeevasagar Garu, Director of SRKR Engineering College, Dr. M. Jagapat Raju Garu, Principal of SRKR Engineering College, Dr. P. S.S.N. Raju Garu, HOD of ECE, Dr. P.V. Ramaraju Garu, Professor, Chief Coordinator for this program, heads of different departments, deans, and all the participants. I welcome you all. We shall soon begin our session. Topic of this session is to train the teachers to foster students' motivation, participation, and creativity through non-formal, informal, and experimental learning activities. Eminent speaker of this session is Dr. B.V. Ramana Reddy Garu. Okay, without any waiting, now I invite Mr. P. James Vijay to introduce the speaker of this session, Dr. B.V. Ramana Reddy Garu.
Thank you, sir.
James.
Good evening and a warm welcome to one and all. This is James Vijay, working as an assistant professor at SRKR Engineering College, BVRM. I find immense pleasure in introducing the resource person for today's session, Professor Bomma Reddy Venkata Ramana Reddy Garu. Professor B.V. Ramana Reddy sir is currently working as professor at University School of Information and Communication Technology, USICT, GGSIP University, New Delhi. He is also the chairman, Centralized Career Guidance and Placement Cell of GGSIP University and program coordinator, NSS cell for the university. He possesses an excellent academic track record both as teacher and as a researcher besides administrative acumen in technology areas of ICT. Been in service for the last 30 years. Earlier, he served in various positions as Dean, School of Engineering and Technology, Dean of University School of Information and Communication Technology, Dean, University School of Architecture and Planning, Chairman and Librarian for University Information Resource Center, served at National Institutes of Repute as faculty at NIT Kurukshetra, NIT Hamirpur. His current research interests include wireless communications, which include mobile, ad hoc, and sensor-based networks. Also, computer communication networks, semiconductor and VLSI circuits, and microwave and optical communication. He has more than 110 publications in international, national journals, and international conferences to his credit. He produced 13 PhDs and currently supervising 4 PhD scholars. Besides, he is a fellow of IETE, IE, ISTE, and a member of other professional bodies such as IEEE, CSI, and SEMCEI. He is an active member in various committees constituted by AICTE, UGC, NAC, TechWIP, and NIC. He visited foreign universities situated in Singapore and China. He is currently actively participating in educational reforms and value-based education, in tune with National Skill Qualification Framework, and contributed to vocational education in the country. He strongly believes in holistic development and growth of the next generation children and dreams of a society where each and every species living on earth lives harmoniously. Further, he strongly believes in to see glitter in the eyes of his subjects as as an award, reward, or recognition. Respected sir, we are grateful to you for accepting our invitation to train the teachers to foster students' motivation, participation, and creativity through non-formal, informal, and experimental learning activities. Respected sir, in this context, I would like to invite you to start the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me for this wonderful online 1 week long faculty development program. The objective of this particular program is to have innovative teaching and learning methods for inspiring students. So there are certain objectives written here: enhancing the teacher's individual learning styles, enhancing the teacher's awareness at the macro level, also train the teachers how to write learning objectives, innovative learning strategies, to train the teachers in diagnosing, planning, implementation, and train the teachers to foster students' motivation, participation in creating through non-formal, informal, and experimental learning activities. So it's a wonderful subject to be taken up. Let me, at the outset, salute to all my gurus sitting before me who have done yeoman service to the humanity in transforming the lives of people through education, who had never had any problem with people of different faiths, castes, communities, dialects. And since the creation of earth, gurus have been there with us. Further, I would like to point out in the whole of my discussion, in the discussion that I had so far, one thing was missing, that I started my teaching career from the very premises where I'm right now making my presentation or a talk on innovative teaching methods and learning methods good for the students. So I have been a student, I have been a faculty, and I have seen wonderful gurus before me. And whatever I am today, it is but for the love, affection, teaching, and all the inputs that they have given me, which has helped me in moving to whatever I am today. Respected sirs, I am as small as the same old child who was before you. I have nothing to add much more than what you have taught me. However, times have changed, teaching methods have changed, innovations have come into teaching methodologies, and students are also changed. The students of yesteryears were different. Now the students are different. The learning methods are different. The way they conceive subjects are different. So, having completed almost 33 years of my teaching career, I have seen many students, and I've understood the students remain the same. Yes, there is a change in their perception levels. There is a change in the way they conduct themselves. There is a change in the way they want the subject to be taught in the current scenario. I think the disruptive technologies have come in. A lot of disruptive technologies have come in, and they've changed the way we normally teach or learn in this process. Before starting anything, I offer my greetings and pray the Almighty to shower His choicest blessings on the gathering who have worked for the cause of education and are a part of these proceedings. I seek your unfettered attention and request the Learn group to debate, discuss, arrive at a consensus in creating a wonderful roadmap for the subject that we are all interested in learning, the innovative teaching and learning methods for inspiring students. Let me start with something which I have learned from my teachers very intuitively, knowledgefully, that my definition of engineering, because see, I come from the engineering fields. I've learned a lot of subjects, and ultimately I found one interesting statement. As a human being, or as an instrument, or as a process of learning, engineering encompasses all fields. So the teaching learning process is also an engineering. So what is that we expect from any model of engineering, or in the model of it, social engineering or a classroom kind of a model? There are two important resources which are at premium. One is the energy, the second one is the time. So all the effort that we are making through this portal also, or the one I'm talking about, I have to give you much in, inputs to you, a lot of information to you, convey something to you, but do so in such a way that the whole group appreciates the inputs, makes a thought process for themselves, take notes out of it, or else take out a learning out of it. Because whenever we talk about teaching, we also add teaching and learning. Teaching is inseparable to learning, but many students, many teachers do not understand the difference between teaching and learning. I may be a wonderful teacher. I have a lot of subject with me, but I do not know how to convey this information to my students. Even if I do so, there is no guarantee that all the 60, in fact, I've got 112 participants in this particular wonderful workshop. How many of them are really trying to understand what the teacher is saying? Is the teacher concerned about whether the other side is learning something or not? Is it only a one side game? So to my mind, a teaching learning process cannot be a one way model. It has to be two way. It has to be interactive. It has to be innovative. It has to be creative. It has to be a storytelling. It has to ensure that number of examples are given in order to ensure that the concept that the teacher is concerned about to teach is conveyed in a proper fashion. We had wonderful teachers. I can even vouch for certain teachers who have taught us the ways of teaching, and probably we have emulated from these wonderful teachers which I had in my whole lifetime. In this regard, I would regard my uncle, Janardhan Reddy Garu, who has been a long serving principal of SRKR Engineering College. I emulated a lot of things from him. Basically, what happens is whenever we do teaching, we believe whatever content I am giving is is important, and other things are not. For me, there are two ways of communication. One is the verbal communication that I am doing with you, and there is a non-verbal communication. If you just work on to see this chemistry between the students and teachers, we understand that we are aligning ourselves to certain teachers, but because not that they are very good at the subject, but they are very good at non-formal communication and exchange of information. So to that light, I still have what we call a debate can happen whether offline teaching is good or online teaching is good or a mixed mode teaching is good. I have been an advocate of classroom teaching for a long time, for the simple reason I know for sure more than 80% of the learning that happens is through non-formal or non-vocal communication model. So the very fundamental point in teaching learning process is it is not the ability of the teacher to convey the information to the child, but the way it is conveyed, in what way it is conveyed, and to what extent it is driven to the mind of the child with a kind of information. So the very first fundamental thing here I would like to point out is that there is a 80 to 90% non-formal or non-vocal communication that happens between the child and the teacher. In this respect, I find I have seen my uncle teaching fluid mechanics. Language is very important when you convey the information to the child. So this is one thing I've learned, that if you want to be an effective teacher, you will have to have a command over the language on which you're going to teach. Definitely on the subject you are going to teach. You have to do a lot of homework. So the way he articulated, the way he talked, the way he conveyed was so pleasing to me. I caught hold of that particular style of teaching. The second thing I caught hold of from him is the way he makes his signature. So there is an impact of a person in your own life, and you carry it for your whole lifetime. Similarly, I had wonderful teachers while when I was doing my graduation. I had wonderful mentors who promoted me into doing teaching and made me learn how good teaching is all about, how effectively a teaching can be done, so on and so forth. So the initial challenges for me as a teacher started from none other than the institute where I'm right now talking to, SRKR Engineering College. So the two important elements I was trying to tell is time and energy. So I should know how to utilize the given time, whether it is 60 minutes or 90 minutes, and how much of energy should I conserve and try give this information to the children. Just by shouting something or just by repeating the same thing, I would not be conveying anything. The body language of the students is important. The way they are receiving the information is important. And if you time and again, I keep telling, I can very easily understand whether the group is interested in this lecture or not. Or if it is not interesting to the children, how do we change the context and how do we give the information to the child? So effective use of time and energy is nothing but engineering. Conserve your energy, do the job within a less amount of time, but effective communication, effective learning has to come out of it. It's not teaching all about. I may be teaching for 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, but how much of learning is converted into learning, how much of my knowledge is converted into learning is of paramount importance for me. So, I mean, there are several ways. I mean, every teacher innovates it their own way. I have innovated things in my own way because, see, all the more I would like to share my own experiences of this. I never disclosed this to anybody, but this is the first time I'm disclosing this, the tryst with teaching, the initial teaching that I did. I was given a subject called control systems, which is the mother of all engineering subjects. It's a mathematical paper, but a core engineering subject, which involves applied physics, applied mathematics, and this kind of a subject can be applied to across to any engineering field. This is where I learned that engineering is the art of ensuring that you do conversion of energy from one form to another form, but do so in such a way that the conversion efficiency is very high, and two, losses are minimal, and the effort is minimal, and you do everything in a small amount of time. So the same thing I applied for all things in my life. So that, but because this is engineering, again, even as a human being, time and energy are two very important commodities. I should know how efficiently I have to use it. Now, having said that, the first firm statement I would make is no amount of technology can replace a conventional classroom teaching learning process. This is the first point I would like to convey to the group, that it is very difficult to replace this kind of a model, however far, however reachability that you talk about. I know for sure there are so many advantages of technology. And while you do this kind of lecturing, I think I'm conveying everything to an online platform, which is a comfortable platform for many. You are sitting in your comfort zone. The belief from my side is you're all sitting in one hall, but it is not true. Each one of us is sitting in their respective rooms, respective spaces, still enjoying this kind of a lecture. So for that, in that matter, yes, it gives you a lot of comfort. It gives you a lot of convenience of learning. It also allows you to learn at your own pace. It also allows you to record something, redo the same thing, work on the same thing at your own pace, at your own timing. So these are all advantages, but that 90% of communication that happens due to non-verbal model cannot be replicated or replaced. So with that note, I would say that this is the first firm statement I would like to make in form of this innovative. Right. When you say creative teaching, this is a second point I would like to address upon. When we talk about innovation, let me first tell the problem and then get on to it. I think we are all aware of the national education policy, and we had several education policies over the past. Now, somewhere along the line since the last 70 years, I strongly believe whatever has been written in the education policies from day one till date have not been implemented in toto. We can debate on what are the reasons and who has to be held responsible for this. I think this will be an unending debate, but the damage has been done, because see, all the more this particular workshop is concentrating on children and how do we do innovative, uh, creative atmosphere for the child, for a better environment of learning. This is what we are interested in. So, as I said, our Gurukul system was the best. It had all the ingredients which we re-showcase and put it in the basket today and say that all this, if we practice, probably we are going to have the best of teaching learning process, so on and so forth. But there are certain things or certain leaves that we should take from the Gurukul system of education. And the modern education also has some innovative practices, and we have to take note of those things also. I think my lecture will focus on both the aspects of how our past was so beautiful, how the teaching learning process happened in a free and natural way of learning. If you see the history of our Gurukul system, the initial learning was only through recitations. The first format of learning was through recitations. Now, they used to recite, cram them, understand them, and then even the exam was oral. So the examination was also oral model that we followed over last centuries. Then we started the next level of teaching learning process, by which the children were sent to a Gurukul ashram and they learned through nature. So, in a way, today we call this as classes outside classroom. Classes outside classroom. In a concept, they were under a tree. They were under the ashram restrictions, and the children learned all the traits of helping, taking care, cultivation, fetching firewood, even raising cattle, helping the mothers at the kitchen. So that learning process was learning through nature, and the teachers never taught anything till the boy or the girl is ready for learning process. So they used to test the child whether he is mentally prepared to receive the kind of teaching that is being done by them or not. So that phase also was a wonderful phase. Then came in the phase of putting it on a paper. With paper is what we talk about today. Palm leaves or other ways of storing the information was done. And then reading, writing procedures, language constructs came in, and then different languages came in. We talk about Dravidian languages, we talk about Sanskrit languages, so on and so forth. So our evolution in the Indian system was like this. There was no technology, but far superior than the technology of today. The Rishi Muni community had far more powers, far more teaching abilities, understanding the child, and then grooming the child for a trade of not his choice, but by his abilities. So the numbers were small. The teachers were almost 1:10 or 1:5 kind of model. So we did that kind of a teaching learning process. So I find a lot of innovative practices over centuries that our Indian teachers have done our gurus have done. And in fact, the very name guru sounds a lot of respect, sounds a lot of reverence to the teacher. That was Guru Shishya Parampara that we had over the past. The guru is the ultimate. He is the examiner, he is the teacher, he is the one who scolds, he is the one who can punish, he is the one who used to give the degree that you are awarded such and such a degree. But now we have segregated our teaching learning models into so many departments. And I mean, there used to be only one teacher teaching everything. Now we have n number of subjects and n number of teachers sharing this responsibility of teaching the wide variety of subjects that we are throwing it to the children. After this particular process, we had a lot of infighting, we had a lot of invasions, we had lost our education system altogether. In fact, that system was supported by the kings, and that perished because the king stopped giving money to the teachers, and things did not work. Coming to the modern society that we are living in 1947, we got our independence, and the first education policy was conceived for this country. Now, this was all with lot of inputs, lot of what we call uh, um, far-sightedness that our forefathers did. They were intelligent people. Now, if any one of you have gone through the education policies, because we are in the midst of a new education policy, that's why I'm discussing those things. How innovative practices are brought into the new education policy. I'll try to give you that account of what happened and how did we arrive at the current education policy. So the first education policy gave three very important points. The fundamental point they said is man making learning should be the first objective of any teaching learning process. So when I say man making learning in NEP 2020, it is coined in a different way as holistic personality development. Okay, so either you call it as man making learning or you call it as holistic personality development. By and large, both of them mean the same. But sadly, we are not doing anything related to human being. We are more focused these days on technologies and technology driven teaching learning and technologies per se. So we are teaching more of machine understanding, more of deep learning into how we can convert machines into men or machines into human being. All our technology journeys to give all the faculties that a human being has, give it to the machine. It's a wonderful idea. Why not we do it? Over the years, over decades, we have been doing it. We have been innovating, writing research papers, publications. So many new products have been designed, defined, delivered, manufactured, given to us for making our lives more and more comfortable. So the parents are also driven by the same, I would have called it as madness. The same madness that my child should be as an engineer or a doctor, because life after that is very interesting. I think we have pushed the children to take up what we want rather than what they are supposed to take or they are interested in taking. I think this thought or this process have really ruined our education models, and many a children committed suicides. Many a children were depressed. Many a children felt they are no good in education, though they were good in certain aspects, but we have never allowed them to innovate, allowed them to uh, passionately learn the subject of their choice. So I strongly give this point that man-making learning should have been a part of our curriculum then, in our yester years, even now. But sadly, this has been missing. Now, luckily for children like me, we had wonderful teaching, we had wonderful parenting, we had eyes of all neighbors, all families and friends. They were there to help us. Priests were there, temples were there, and you may say even temples are there today. But the kind of temple going, the kind of recitations, the kind of learning, the kind of personification of oneself, that I want to be like this, or exam times going to a temple and seeking blessings of a god. Now, I think this we had it almost 90%. Now it has become 10%. So, spirituality, I would rather put it this way. I'm not talking about religion. Spirituality was inbuilt into our education system, in our social system, and in all the people who were around us. Sadly, now we don't have those systems. Slowly but steadily, we eroded our value system. We eroded our spiritual growth of a child, and we just focused on one aspect of learning, teaching learning process, and that is teaching material growth. How we taught them is that we forgot that the human being himself is a wonderful machine, and he and she also need to be innovated, created, and should learn about themselves first as compared to any other thing later on. Uh, what we did intelligently in the whole process of the last 60, 70 years, we created curricula, we created co-curricular. So whatever curricular that we are in the teaching learning process, please go through your own schemes and syllabus. 80% to 85% is technology driven, materialistic, and nothing about personal growth. If I open the discussion and debate on this, you can put it on the chat box if you have any cross ideas which I'm throwing at. I'll have a debate rather than change my viewpoint. I would rather debate on the subject. Probably I'll learn new things from you, but this is my understanding, the way we did it. So we missed on one count, and that is that we, in the process, we have lost the human being. The materialistic world is there before us. So the second very important point they said was, give them that training, give them those skills which will earn them their daily bread. I think we concentrated on this. We are hell bent on ensuring that every child who is studying in our college gets a job. To the sad part is, today's parents are so interesting people. They will not come and ask what labs you have or what teachers you have. They'll say, what is the placement scenario? So if the placement scenario is good, the teaching learning process has no bearing. The results are there. So my child gets 90%. The parents are happy. The students are happy. The teachers are happy. But I'll give you a small statistical information. Our education models that have been adopted in Andhra Pradesh or Telangana or the combined Andhra Pradesh, or to the extent the South India, the main focus of parents is that my child should be the topper of the class. Come what may, my child should be on the top of the list. In any school, we don't see whether there are sports facilities or not. We will not see, is there any extracurricular activities? I'm also using extracurricular, co-curricular, because that is how my mind is, which is wrong. Are we giving them inputs regarding fine arts? Are we giving inputs of nationalistic feelings? Are we giving them inputs of sports? Are we giving them inputs such as forming groups like NSS or NCC? And then what is that they're going to train in that particular aspect? So all these things have been missing in our education curriculum. We have pushed them into, for that matter, human values and professional ethics. Now AICT, with a lot of intervention, a lot of discussions with the chairman of AICT, this has been brought as a compulsory. I think you're all aware that AICT has come out with a 3-week plan where every child who enters into the education field in a UG classes or a PG classes, they will undergo a 3-week cycle of learning about the environment, learning about the innovative practices of the organization, learn about human values, talk about NSS, NCC, yoga, sports, and then club activities. Try teach them these inputs. I mean, this exercise on paper is a wonderful concept, but how many colleges have adopted it and how many colleges are really implementing this 3-week program? I have a bigger question mark on that. My take is it should be a part of the curricular activities. It should not be co-curricular activities. There should be credits given to personality development of the child or holistic development of the child. When I say our education models, if you see the schools and colleges running in Andhra, Telangana, or elsewhere also, we don't have sports facilities, not much of them. Very few colleges offer it, and schools probably very few of them offer. NCC, NSS are clubs, or you talk about values or moral education. I think many of us don't have this in our curricular network, and probably colleges even don't want to employ teachers in these areas because they believe it is a wastage of money. So we have schools and colleges without playgrounds. We have air-conditioned classrooms. We don't teach them any other thing other than maths, physics, chemistry, bio, and to the extent language, English. Even local languages are not required. They are not of any importance to them. So I think our priorities were centered around the material growth, whereas the focus should have been the growth of the child. So the focus was shifted. So this is the third important point I would like to make at this point. Then the third very important aspect that the first education policy was talking about is give them the inputs regarding entrepreneurship or develop entrepreneurship traits in the child. I think we have this thousands of universities in this country. I think very few or maybe unitary numbers are practicing this kind of an innovative practices of entrepreneurship development. Sadly, even on all the curriculum that we talk about, do we add what is called as a minor project or a major project driven by innovation, driven by creativity, or to that extent, forget about creativity or innovation. Have we developed a system where we connect ourselves to the nearby villages, nearby slums, take up projects which are socially relevant? Have we done any exercise in this direction? Sadly, the answer is no. Universities are a taboo. Society is another taboo. Universities don't link up with society. Forget about society. They don't even link up with the industry. Last 30 years, we have been seeing industry is never interested in, yes, they might be going to the premier institutions in this country, such as IITs or IIMs, take children from there in a big way. But by and large, the industry is not interested in either contributing to improvement of education or consider the faculty as a very good research component or a people who can help in innovating something new or problem solving for the industry. Even this does not happen in this country. So all of that, what I'm talking about, when we say innovative practices, when we say new learning methods, if we don't connect all these dots, what kind of education model are we talking about? What is that we're going to give the children for their future living? We have not given life skills to the child. If there is no job for me in Delhi, can I survive? My education has helped me to reach a point, but a thought comes to my mind that this kind of a materialistic education which I've got, probably someday if I lose my job, am I ready mentally or physically to take up any other job which will fetch me my livelihood? Have I got those life skills in me? So the answer is no. I don't have these life skills. The next point I would like to stress upon is when we talk about holistic development of a child, even when you talk about your innovative or teaching methods, have we integrated, or any of the teachers among us have integrated teaching values or morals or any other traits of a human being clubbing with the technology which you are teaching? This I have perfected for myself. I've been teaching about 30 to 35 subjects by now. So the best thing that I could have thought about and I practiced and I innovated is any learning process. The basic things are that I can teach a new concept only when the child has something in his kitty that makes it. He has learned something. A new thing can only be learned by connecting it with with the knowledge that the child has got earlier. If that can be the way, it becomes an easy connect for a teaching learning process, or more learning will come out of it. So in this, I would rather say, in Hindi we call it as chit bhi pat bhi meri, meaning thereby I have both the hands full and my mouth is also full. So I am teaching values. I'm integrating my teaching in such a way that human being is the central point, and whatever new things I'm teaching or learning is connected to the human being. Because for me, the human being is the most complex, most critical. If you call him a machine, yes, is a wonderful machine. A machine who can conserve his time, a machine who knows how to conserve the energy, a machine which can do a lot of what we call as improve the conversion efficiency also. The kind of connectivity that we have in our body, the speed with which the information travels from one part to the other part of the body. I have translated these ideas onto how practically we have been implementing, let's say, a subject called data communication and networks. So this way, even I would rather put it this way, that you do a lot of work here, put a lot of AI, lot of genetic algorithms, lot of this thing, lot of innovative ideas added to it. You will never reach a point where you can replicate a human being. But you see, the point here is, all the more the technology is driven by the desire to replicate a human being. So whatever functionalities that we are adding, we call them smart devices, we call them innovative devices, we call them as a creative environment. But a true creative, innovative mind that the human being has possessed is no match, unparalleled, and cannot be replicated. To my mind, it may not be a reality even after 100 years. But still, the process is on. We have a template, we have a benchmarking, and we are progressing in technology driven society to reach the other side of the story. So, when I say our innovative, creative, all these things, when we talk about it, the fundamental things are make him a human being, give him skills that are sufficient enough for his learning, earning, or bread. The third, give him entrepreneurship traits. I think now NEP 2020 again is recasting these three basic points, which over the years have been neglected for reasons known to our administrators, reasons known to our political class, reasons known to the parents who have been making these children go through a rigor wherein we have not created sufficient infrastructure for educating all our children. But we mandate it in our constitution that it will be a free compulsory education up to 16 years. We have not achieved anything. Even now, we are only talking about numbers, we are only talking about um, gross enrollment ratio. We are talking about school dropouts and so on and so forth. So the real reasons have to be analyzed. I think, to my mind, the National Education Policy 2020 has been welcomed by one and all. With this mandate that is given to, I think, I presume and I pray to the God, thus this particular policy that we have come up with, the 2020 NEP, the implementation is the key to the success and to the change in the society that we have to. Now, when I said so many negative things about my education system, uh, um, I would rather ponder over and stop at this moment. India has made big strides in technology, in IT sector, in manufacturing sector, in pharmaceutical sector, or there may be n number of other sectors where we say we've done wonderfully well. My focus is not the gross domestic product or how much we have earned or how fast we have grown. As a society, if you just pause over as a parent or as a teacher or a common citizen of this country, you list out all the problems of the society, I would not be surprised that you will come out with a document which has got 1,000 reasons for the failure of this society? If you really ask me, the failure of the society translates backwards to what has been taught over the years by the teachers and by the parents to the children. We became adults, we are now a part of the society, and whatever they have done, the results are seen here. Whatever we have done since the last 20, 30 years is for somebody to see after 10, 20 years. But are we happy with the current society that we are having? Very pessimistically, I'm putting it, I'm really not happy. I'm pained with the appalling conditions of the society, but for the teaching learning processes that we have adopted. So all the ills I've told you, all that problems I've put before you for debate, and what could be the roadmap for us in future? Are we going to do old wine in a new bottle? Try new vocabulary, put it into a perspective, but do the same practices, and think that the country is going to grow faster. Number one, I find the infrastructure needs to be built for education, particularly. It's a long way to go, but a lot of money has to be pumped into it. There is a meager amount that is pumped out of GDP into education, and the lion's share of this goes to primary institutions, and there is starvation, other primary education or otherwise. So the first and foremost thing is, as parents, as teachers, as members of the society, as parliamentarians, as administrators, the first thing is to ensure that our basic infrastructure becomes very strong. Until unless we have this, the new innovative teaching learning models talk about stimulating class environment. How do we create a stimulating class environment without pumping in the requisite amount of money? Or for me, I would rather put it this way: an ideal state should give 3% of its GDP for education. I say we have done a lot of mistakes. Why don't we put it as 6% of the GDP, and then see, we bring in lot of what we call new establishments and a new way of looking at things. With whenever we talk about innovative teaching, learning, creative environments, it requires, today it requires, I mean, earlier, I don't know, in Esther years, what they did, how innovatively they taught us. Probably they made us think more, visualize more, and a lot of theoretical calculations and simulations were done. But now the child doesn't want to do all this. He wants everything to be visually before him. He wants the results to be coming at a faster pace. He wants to use the technology in terms of what we call as creating a simulations, or creating an algorithm, or trying out n number of experiments on a virtual platform and translate it to a reality. I think it's a wonderful way of looking at technology as a tool, as a third eye, which helps us peep into those secrets of nature much faster than what could have been done when we did trial and error methods. We did a lot of trial and error methods. We tried a lot of equations. We tried to calculate. We failed a number of times, and plus one time we succeeded in this. Now, the first transformation, as I see over the technologies since the past over years, that today we don't need to mug up those equations. We don't need to understand those equations. They're already fitted into the simulatory platforms or emulatory platforms. So our teaching learning methods have changed from the rote learning, deriving equations, to just using the equations during the platform and then simulate the outputs. Sadly, the children do not know how to interpret the results of what they have done also. They do give some inputs. Naturally, the software will give you some outputs, and you do not know how to analyze the outputs. You do not know how to interpret and then find a practical solution for it. We can theoretically, a lot of things are done, even in research. So our research needs to change. In what way it has to change? Use the technology, use the tools, but don't rely on tools alone, because technology is like an elephant. If you know how to sit on it and use it, it is for your good and for the society's good. If the technology is sitting on you, you are crushed under the weight of the elephant. So you become a slave to the very technology which you think is a superpower for you. It is definitely a superpower for those who knows how to use it. It is not a superpower for those who do not know how to use the technology. So it is a double-edged sword. So technology per se, when we are talking in these platforms saying that it is very good, it is very nice, see how we are able to do. Even Corona, we have beaten Corona, we are taking classes online, we are able to reach out to millions of people, so much so forth. Yes, technologies are good. As I said, you should know how to use it and how effectively one can use these things. So if you look at the personality of a person, there are four layers. From my childhood, I have been given these inputs. I did not know the layers, but then I realized that all my four layers were made very strong. These four layers of human excellence are: one, the physical quotient, the intelligent quotient, the emotional quotient, and the spiritual quotient. Now, as I said, physical quotient has gone into co-curricular activities, NSS, NCC, sports, group activities, um, building discipline into a child, nationalistic feelings in a child, social contribution to society as a part of the learning teaching process. This is again said classes outside classroom. So please mute yourself. Of disturbance, please. Okay. Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I think I stopped somewhere. The rhythm has gone. Yeah, I was talking about the four layers. Now, I see Professor DVR Mohan, who is a very passionate cricket player, even today. I think if you look at him over the last 30, 35 years, I don't find much of a change in him. The way he thinks or the passionately he delivers his lectures, thanks to his abilities on sports also. Sports may not directly influence your technologies or the way you teach or the way you conduct your classes, but it definitely gives you the stamina. It gives you the perfect health. We say a healthy body is leading to a healthy mind, and a healthy mind leads to a healthy body. So I would advocate that in a big way, the children should be promoted to do sports or some activity of sporting. Even today, I take inspiration from such teachers, and I try myself playing some games because if this is how you go into nature also. So these days Delhi is very cold, foggy, but still I try get up at 4 in the morning, get ready by 6, go out, nature walks, and then play some games, and that makes your whole day so wonderful, so beautiful for you. You will be elegant, you will be stylish, you will be all energy. So these things children these days don't do it. Their day is night and night is day. I think they have to learn this art of living with nature. Raise with nature and end the day with nature is a wonderful way of looking at it. I keep teaching my children, motivating my children to do this activity too, because that makes them creative and innovative also. Cricket also has a lot of engineering. If you play there, probably some new ideas come in your lab also. So this is how one needs to improve oneself at the physical level. If your physical body is strong, you are assured 100-year life. If it is not so, you may be the best technologist, best researcher, but your life ends at 50 or 55. So your physics should be very strong. So that's the first thing I advocate. The second and for this we introduced in our university NSS, NCC, yoga, sports, and clubs also. We have got 12 different clubs in the university. This is in line with the prescriptions of the National Education Policy 2020. I am developing a document which we will circulate to all universities and colleges, saying that this can be a template. You can try it out in your university or college for developing the physical attributes of a child. That's the first step. The second step is the intellectual quotient. We all concentrate on this particular thing, but the method that we adopted is cramming, repeating, giving these inputs in modular format, asking them to get trained in this, and they vomit this information in the examination papers. And this doesn't lead to creativity or innovation. It leads nowhere. But then he gets a 90% or a 95%. You know the fallout of this? Our children in Andhra and southern India, most of them crack all these entrance exams. They go to the best of the best primary institutes. And that is the role played by all our education model. Now, this child going there suffers from different deficiencies. The deficiencies are he doesn't know how to take life on. I'm not talking about every child is like this. I'm pained to state that the percentage is larger as compared to what we intend to have in the society. The second thing is they don't have a practical approach to problem solving. They are theoretically very good. Even in the midnight, you wake them up, they'll give the answer to any question you ask without anything because they have crammed it. They don't need to solve the problem. They know the answers of it. So if this is the case, then real life problems cannot be solved. So there again, there is a bottleneck. So you have not made them a human being. You have not made them a good technocrat for solving real life problems. Hence, he cannot be a good entrepreneur also. So we bundled everything and we did not do anything. Yes, we are all interested in sending our children to a foreign land. How far it is good, how far it is bad, or how is it destroying our society and the social fabric for everybody, is for everyone. You ponder over your own families, ponder over your own relationships, so on and so forth. Material growth should be coupled with the other growth too, and that is where the third layer goes, the emotional quotient. I had wonderful teachers. I had wonderful parenting. I said, emotionally, I'm connected to them. Even today, I'm connected to them. The societies must have changed 30, 40 years down the lane, but I do have the same thought process. I do have the same reverence for my teachers. I still remember them. I still love them. And nothing has changed in me even in these 30 years, thanks to my teachers, that they could give me those life skills, they could give me that spirituality, they could give me that emotional support. Even today, I can stand tall in any new place, not really worrying about what will go wrong with me. I always thought what right I can do for the society rather than what will go wrong for me, because that kind of inputs are there for me. They are standing well behind me. So this kind of an emotional support, our social fabric, our family structure is inbuilt into it. Even today, I take this to anybody. I mean, I'm sorry to say, this is a fact in a metro city that there is 60 to 70% of divorce rate. Single parent, single child, both of them doing job, but turned out to be single parenting. Is it a healthy society? Will the child not miss the other part of the parenting? Definitely yes. Do we have grandparents living with us? Answer is no. Do we have wonderful friends around us? The answer is absolutely, I cannot vouch for it. Virtual world has become replaced the real world. We are into social media. We are into so many issues there. Say, my lecture was supposed to be innovative teaching learning methods, but I wanted to make it very strongly appealing to everybody here, raising questions so that a thought process will raise in you. And probably this leads to a better innovative methods, better teaching methods, better learning methods, and better focus on what exactly are we trying to do. Are we trying to browbeat around again with the materialistic world, or should we think widely? Should we think in a broad-based manner? Is the way I'm looking forward to. So that is where things are. So just I'll take a call, please. Sorry. Hello. Sorry for the interruption. So the more connect you have with the family, the more connect you have with your grandparents, the more connect you have with your friends. I think emotionally you are very, very strong. These days, 70 to 80% of the problems of the children, you must be wondering why the Supreme Court has to press itself in for saying that every university, every college, every affiliated college should have a counselor. Every institution should have a psychologist, or every institution should have a psychiatrist. Why did we create such a situation for our children? Who are the reasons? What are the reasons for this? Why are we heading towards disaster or after disaster? Don't we have to pause at some point and think, now this is not the right course of action, let us think in different way. Now interestingly, Harvard has started these classes. They call them as happiness classes. They understood the problem. They started reversing this trend of talking about self only, not talking about societies or groups or families. They started happiness classes. Quite interestingly, all the children studying in Harvard are a part of the happiness classes. Tomorrow, some of our professors will go there, learn these things, and come back and teach us in modules and taking dollars of rupees, saying that we have found a new thing. And that new thing is we have innovated that emotional quotient is also very important for material growth, not for personal growth. Sorry to say that. So even today, they are going to give us capsules saying that this will help improve your GDP, help improve your work ethics, help improve your environment in the working space. How sadly it is. We are treating human beings so disgracefully, and we are treating the machines and the growth GDP as the paramount importance. Is a shame on us. We Indians at least know this. We have to change this. We don't need to be get taught by somebody else on earth what is an emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, and how do we improve personally rather than improving GDP or work environment. Corporates try this. They give you spaces. They go for relaxation, go for yoga, go for meditation. For what? For improving the GDP of the company. Focus is to be the person first, not the material world. If I am there, material world is there. If I am not there, what is the fun of having a material world around us? So EQ, emotional quotient, is important. Many people say that the spiritual quotient can be tried once you have retired. I think Professor DVR Mohan will never retire, or for that matter, some other professors who know the traits of making them strong physically, mentally, emotionally, does know that spirituality is also a way of life. Spirituality doesn't start at 16, it starts from the womb. If it has not been taught from the womb, probably I would have been a disaster in this society. I would have been a very wrong person in the society. I would have been a person who is a part of a nexus, or who is a part of the underbelly, who is trying to make more money out of nothing. Where are we going? I mean, the society is a reflection of what we are in our education system. If this present day is a bad situation where a 1-year child can get raped, and we all have to put our heads in shame, What kind of societies are we creating? What kind of innovations are we talking about? What is the creativity that we're talking about? Are we creating new ways of creating world wars? Are we creating cyber warfares? Are we creating biological warfares? Where are we heading? I would throw light on something else if you are interested in. The UN has come out with SDG 17, Sustainable Developmental Goals 17. Please go through it. Even today, we are unable to feed each individual in this world. One third of the children are starving today. Illiteracy, no food, homelessness. The resources are getting depleted. The nature is being what we call misused. Corona is not a fallout of any other reason but for the human greed. We are all reeling under it. We are all learning new things from the corona. Like in NSS, we teach not me but you. What do you mean by this? That you are more important rather than me. Whereas the world has taught us I am more important than the world. And today we say, please wear your mask, please maintain distance. Why are we saying it? Because we know our survival is fully dependent on the survival of the other person. Otherwise, he will send a coronavirus to me and I'm going to die. So a very bitter pill nature has given us, we are learning it. So in this SDG 17, believe me, only one thing appeals to me is educating the children, nothing else. All other things are a fallout of not educating our children in a right way. So, not right to education. My slogan is right education. We have to provide right education rather than right to education. Right to education is there, but how much of it is implemented? Now, I say, let us go a step forward. Let's give right education to the child from the womb till 18 years and see the society's changes. All these SDG 17 will fall flat like a pack of cards because we know how to live. We did know how to make our children live with nature. We ensure that our natural resources are used in a way that we can replenish them rather than depleting these sources. Technology can be a great leveler, a great change over when we know how to do right technologies and how to come out with right solutions rather than those solutions of polluting nature, creating a problem to all the aquatic life animals by dumping a lot of plastic into them, and then again recovering the plastic out of it. What kind of games are we playing? So this is a disaster one to disaster two to nth disaster we're going to move, and SDG 17 may become SDG 34 within another 100 years. So please go through these points. Now, coming back to, I mean, I'll close it, this discussion there. I think you're all learned faculty members, administrators in your own right, and all that what I've said is only an anguish that a faculty member, having seen life for almost 33 years in teaching, feels so bad about it. Now, I'm very upbeat about NEP 2020. If it implemented in the right earnest, things will be very rosy. Let me candidly admit, I'm one of the members in the national executive who is playing a small role in the implementation of 2020. Probably this is what is the contribution that I can do to the wrong that I did since the last 30 years. At least now, a wake up call. Let us try new things. Whatever is envisioned into NEP 2020, which is a collective thought process of people like you. And I embraced it, and I feel so happy that I'm a part of that exercise. So we are working on to that. Now, coming to the topic, when we talk about innovation, so the key even in NEP 2020 is create a model where you will not tell the children what to learn. You just give them opportunity to learn on themselves. Just give them the inputs. Technology is there, books are there, literature is there, innovative teaching methods are there. Let them be there for them. But the key to this is don't push what is your agenda. Don't push what is that the child has to learn. Push the agenda that this is what it is. Now you innovate and learn the way you are feeling it correct. whatever you do it as a teacher, please do it passionately. Don't go to a classroom with all your problems on your head. A classroom is a space to experiment, a godly space where you are training the next generation. Don't forget these facts that whenever you enter your classroom, you are somebody who is like a god to the children. They listen to you, they want to learn from you. And if you innovatively, if you are creative, if you do them in different formats, storytelling can be one format where you can give this. Today I did not tell you any stories, but because I know all the intellectuals before me know all the stories, and they are very well mature enough to understand whatever I'm saying. I don't need to give you stories, but children need stories. They need to connect from the past to the present. So that way we can do. Then role playing is another model you can try. Like role playing can be a characters, it can be a technology where human being is taken as an example and explained to the child, a role play model, and like this. Audiovisual tools are there to you. In fact, interestingly, audiovisual things have made the teacher much more lazy. The same slides over the years, the same content rolled out year on year, the same subject being taught for decades together. It's not the room. The more you are teaching that subject, more add more beauty to that, add more content to it, add more examples to it, add more innovation to that particular thing, because your understanding of the subject is much more beyond the person who is reading it today. So your understanding of the subject should translate into new innovative ways of teaching and learning process. This is how you can make your classroom more stimulating also. Okay, so puzzles, clubs, creative work, teamwork, storyboards. There are very many ways of innovating something, creating something. But I would rather put it this way: you are the best innovator as a teacher. You are the best creator of a new knowledge. You can teach the same subject to n number of different classrooms in a very different way. Your understanding is deeper than anybody on earth. So no amount of technology, no amount of slides, no amount of visuals, yes, they appeal to the child, but the subject learning will happen only through you if you know how to handle the subject. The student may be reading one textbook, but you are a master of n number of subjects already. So all your lectures should be so interesting, made so interesting that the child gets interest in that learning, teaching, learning process. So this is how we need to innovate oneself like this. So I'll hold on at this moment of time. I think I don't have. It's already 5:22. I would make it more interesting if it is an interactive session. I can receive some questions through chat box, or you can unmute yourselves and ask me some questions. Probably it will be enriching for me too, having interacting with wonderful faculty across the country. That's what I was told. I thank SRKR Engineering College for giving me this platform and so patiently listening to me without any interruptions. I'm open to this discussion and open to any new ideas that you people are going to share with me. And in case I'm there to answer some questions, it will be very interesting for me.
Sir, sir, good evening, sir. This is Dr. Asadi Srinivaslu.
Yes, sir.
Sir, so you have explained the thoughts and topics are fantastic, sir. And I observed it. And now my question is, during in this pandemic period, we are using so many ICT tools.
Hmm.
So how you rate rather than a traditional teaching versus ICT tool teaching through online?
Okay.
So I would like to have a beautiful explanation from you.
Yeah. So I'll answer this question by giving you an example. I think we are all locked down, knowing fully well from the month of January 2020 Finally, we realized that this is going to be a very big thing, and then we are in real trouble. I think in the month of March, we really locked down ourselves for almost 6 months. Now, in these 6 months, literally no classroom happened, no offices were opened, nobody had work. Many companies have turned to work from home. Even my university turned more or less work from home. But in a real sense, since there were no student, there was no classroom, there were no guidelines given by UGC or even by the Supreme Court. So we were locked down literally, and we were all wondering and worrying about what will happen to the mankind, and how fast is it is going to affect each and every one of us. I think it has really affected almost 60 to 70% of the people have lost their jobs, and they had to go back to their villages. So this is about something related to the pandemic and its effects. So luckily, people like me who are in a government service, we were also wondering whether we will get a half salary or a full salary and so on and so forth. But we got our full salary. Coming to your question, how did you handle this particular situation, whether classroom teaching learning is good, bad, or ugly? The answer to this is COVID has made us think differently. I also was an advocate of a class. Please mute yourself, please, others. Uh, Excuse me. Can you mute all of them, please? Yeah. So, what did we do in the university? I mean, for me personally, I had got 2, 3 different assignments. One, I was preparing myself to generate 175 different question papers for a common entrance test for my university. So I was busy with that work. So I was not having time to think about COVID. I was only wondering, if tomorrow everything opens up, how do I go to this particular model and complete this examination process? That was there on my mind. That's the first thing. The second thing that went into my mind is, since there is no classroom teaching that is happening, the final year students and these children, by and large, who are locked at home, are depressed. They were deprived of certain things. Some time is going to be lapsed in their lives. And those who have got placements, they are in trouble. They did not have their exams. So they were wondering whether they'll be getting degrees without exams or with exams, so on and so forth. So taking cue from these problems that we said, the first and fundamental thing we did was we welcomed all the online platforms that we had. I never used any platform prior to COVID, but having undergone this cycle, we had no choice but to embrace technology, embrace digital learning models. Funnily, even today, even a nursery child has to sit before a screen, and then, because parents are not interested in taking any risk, so schools are shut. By and large, schools are shut. So the teaching learning process has to be online. Life has to go on. This is a disruptive thing that has happened. So for me, digital platforms are a welcome on that count. I will not evaluate it on whether this is good or that is good, because we have no option. So having no option, this is the first thing we did. Now, other interesting thing I would like to add here is, having done this, the next thing we did is, on the platform of NSS, we started what we call as Mind Over Matter series. You will find them on YouTube. Just type this Mind Over Matter series. What we did is, we brought wonderful spiritual gurus, wonderful people in the industry, good number of people in the professions, to come and address the children how to beat boredom, how to live life, how what are life skills, and how one should, at this moment of time, should not be getting worried about future. Jaan hai to jahan hai. If you have life, future is there. If you don't have life, what is the future? So worry about the pandemic, maintain all social distancing norms. And then our NSS teams have started doing a lot of activities online by awareness programs. They started, mask making was awareness program, sanitizer making was another awareness program, use of the app that is given there, that was another thing. and social distancing norms in pictorial forms, in video forms, in cartoon form. We tried to use the digital platforms. We had no option but to spread awareness among all the children. This is what we did using these platforms. So I mean, I cannot, but the wonderful thing is these lectures have gone live to 125 different countries. That's the beauty of the whole digital platform. I thought it will help my university, but I never knew that IIT Delhi is going to join me, partner with me, and DTU gets partnered with me, or NSUT gets partnered with me, or JNU is interested in joining with me. I mean, there's a wonderful platform that way. Those we live in our shells. Normally, we don't interact with people, but this platform has really provided an opportunity for everybody to come together for a common cause. And we had queries coming from 125 different countries. It's a beauty in itself. We never thought we are going to reach this many countries. Yes, we have created boundaries, we have created districts, we have created states, we have created countries, but as a humanity, we are all one. And the whole pandemic has made us realize that this pandemic is a universal thing. It is not for Indians or Africans. So this way, I would put it this way, that the solution to today's problems and tomorrow's things is a mixed mode. Let the classroom be live. Let the children, half of them, come to the classroom, maintain social distancing, do their laboratory sessions, do their NSS, NCC activities on alternate days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I think we have come out with this roadmap. We are going to now convert all our classrooms into smart classrooms. We are going to have a classroom happening here. The other set of children will be at home. So I think this is the key to the success of taking the advantages of a classroom teaching as well as taking the advantages of an online platform. I think this has been advocated by UGC also and AICT also. Try mixed mode, and these thought process were there before they were telling us, but this emanated, and I think this is a solution to whatever question you have asked. We cannot live with either of the problems. We have to integrate both of them, try the best formats, so that I feel as a teacher that I'm in the classroom. Alternatively, the children are there, but the whole classroom is or either Zoom platform or other platform. You can go for a recording of these things and you can put it on your website. I think today we talk about MOOCs, we talk about different platforms, and we allow the children to take those courses and get credits also. If that be the case, why don't we do a mixed mode? Maybe my lectures will be useful to those children where the teachers are not available, though I may not be very much interested in teaching on such platforms, but indirectly this will help other children too. I think this is my answer to your question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I got a very good knowledge on this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, yeah,
Sir, Veeramanikandi, sir.
yeah, please. Yeah, please ask the question, sir.
Sir, I have some questions, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, nowadays, how students' behavioral responses grow or not, sir? Behavioral response of students, sir.
When we talk about behavioral response, I think, um, as I said, the learning starts from the womb, and up to 6 to 7 years of the child's growth, the template is created, meaning thereby 60 to 70% of his learning and solidification of ideas is complete. Even terrorists train children who are 6 to 8 years old. You know why? You can brainwash them at that moment of time and say somebody is great and somebody is not good, so you have to kill him. So these ideas are refined very strongly into the child. Even if you do the other reversal of this, it might take 10 to 15 years for you to reverse the thought processes which are already solidified in the child. Now, when you talk about this behavior, the behavioral traits are solidified during the first 6 to 8 years. So we have to catch them young. All our teaching learning procedures that we follow there should not be loaded with classroom teaching, should not be loaded with books and lot of assignments. It has to be nature, fun loving, nature way, colorful way, colors, expressions, pictorial views, or storytelling, or what we call as creative or innovative traits. Give them some assignments in such a way they do something physically rather than visually, virtually, visually, or what we call as on a platform. Don't show them like that. Sadly, today's mothers are giving a tab to a 6-month-old child who is crying. Do you think this technology is going to help them in a way? No, they're going to do. They're not going to give them emotions. They're not going to teach them spirituality. They're only engaging them and then wasting their time in no good pursuit. So the purpose of life, the pursuit of life has to be inculcated, and then only whatever question you have raised will be fulfilled. Otherwise, don't expect the child to behave very well coming to a college when he has not been taught anything. That expectations is too much. If the old people, people like us were going to become old after 10-20 years, saying that my children are not behaving the way they have to behave, I have behaved very well with my parents, not doing any good to the children. You are in fact have spoiled them. You do not know how to groom them, and now you expect them that they should take care of you in the times of your weakness, or in the times of your age. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The way you sow, so you reap. If our education system is like this, as I said, you will give me 1,000 reasons of failures. Now go another 10 years, 20 years down the line, I'll give you 10,000 reasons for our failures. But we have to arrest somewhere. So these behavioral patterns are nothing but our own creation and our own inputs given to the child in the early stages of life. Now, this is exactly what NEP 2020 is talking about. Teach in mother tongue. This is the first prescription given there. Teach in mother tongue for the first 5 to 6 years. Playful. And then I gave you something. Classroom, outside classroom. No assignments, no school bag. For this, we need infrastructure. We need right thinking teachers. We need to orient them towards this kind of a teaching learning process, which was the best practices that we had in India. We have lost them. So we need to revive them all over again. Yes, technology has taken us much far. I will use the technology. In the previous question, I answered, I'm going to use the technology. But as an elephant, I sit on it. I should not allow the elephant to sit on me. Because today's world is, we talk about digital. I mean, we had a lecture, wonderful lecture on digital detoxification. Because we started thinking digitally. The wife says to husband, are you staying with me or not? If not, divorce tomorrow. This is a digital thinking that has come out. We are not logically thinking, we are digitally thinking. Thanks to technology, which is digitally driven, we started talking and thinking like a digital instrument rather than as a human being who has a wonderful way of analyzing things slowly but steadily in a natural way. So we have analog electronics, I teach that. We say it is a nature's way of doing things, slowly but steadily in incremental ways. Nature has never allowed sudden changes, but we have as a human being created sudden changes, and sudden changes have created a lot of problem for us. In technical terms, if I say it requires infinite space, it requires infinite resource. I don't have infinite resources or infinite space. Nature has taught us to live in small spaces and in small resources, conserving energy. But we have started using more energy on the other side. We may debate on digital versus analog. Each one may have their own advantages and disadvantages. But we are driven by the digital world today. We think digitally, and this is bad. And this is affecting the behavioral pattern of the child.
Thank you so much, sir. Great explanation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I'm Rajendran calling from Pondicherry, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, as you said, sir, the mother is giving a mobile phone to the kids at the 6 months old.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, the both father and mother are working, and no grandparents are also not along with them. So it is so the women. Since we are empowered the women with all the education and stuff, all those things, so they wanted to work and earn money. So during these circumstances, how do you suggest them to give the love and affection for their children. So do you suggest them to leave their job for 3 years or temporarily? Would you say that how do the child get the affection in this circumstances, sir?
Yeah,
Please,
I
sir.
have an answer for this, because I've seen the problems. I also work on the solutions also. The solution to this problem is the balance between the male and female. The mindset that we have is even today. I mean, please pardon me saying so. We call it as male chauvinism. We do not know how to handle, because both are working. So the responsibilities are also to be taken by the both. But still we have this mindset that the wife has to take care of everything. She has to take care of the children, their education, household chores. She has to do a job. But because today's world is so interesting, that if we both don't work, the child will not get education. That's the pathetic situation we have created. I think my teachers will appreciate that when we were children, parents never even thought about what is the fees and all that, because that was only small amount that we used to pay. Believe me, today I've got three wonderful kids, and I almost spend 33% of my salary on each child. We have been now made bonded laborers. Parents are now bonded laborers for the country, because the children are children dearer to them, so they have to work. And how should they work? They should work as if they are slaves, and both of them have to work, because one salary is not sufficient to live in a city. Both of them have to work. So if both of them have to work, and is it the problem of the child? It is not the problem of the child that you both are working. They never expect, the children will not go into all these details. The important thing is that even in spite of all the problems that we have, are we giving the best to the child or not? The mother has to give time. How does the emotional quotient be taken care of? How will the child have the confidence in leading life? What are the life skills that you're teaching to the child? Everything is taught in the school. The school teachers are professionals these days. And the people, many people have put ayahs at home. You don't know what is the plight of the child in the hands of ayahs. I can show you n number of videos. Very pathetic. So the answer to this is one, two, three. One, we should have a policy to have only two children. Don't have more children. Two is also a big number, but have two children, because that will emotionally connect the children together. Because single child and parenting is a different task, a different take. The child feels lonely. The child doesn't have some company to play with. He has to always try play with the parents. The parents are not available. Grandparents cannot stay with you, because it's a very costly affair for you. But you don't realize that the cost that you're working on physically by keeping your parents together or children together, or it's sharing. Your work will be shared among n number of people. Please try this all over again. If you have any problem, if the parents of you are living in a village, please bring them to your place. This is my first prescription. The children will enjoy their company. They learn a lot of things from grandparents. The grandparents can become good babysitters, if not a wonderful parents. They will definitely become good babysitters. They can tell you stories. Their grooming definitely makes sense. All the money that you earn is a waste if your children are not the way you wanted them to be. And don't blame them. You are the reason for their failure. So try different things like this. Bring your parents, make them stay with you. However small, large, see, the problem is here. The problem is not in the spaces. If the spaces are small, still people lived. 10 people lived in a very small space. But today, even with two people, the space has become so congested. Even you have a 4,000 square yards plot. It's all in the mind. It's all in your heart. Try change these things, because these are not quantifiable. Emotional surge is not quantifiable. Your spiritual learning is not quantifiable. And your physical fitness today is not quantifiable by any measure. Nobody is interested whether you're doing sports or not. But for your own health, for your own well-beingness, for your own mental stability, you will have to do all these things. So my prescription is, let's have our larger families all over again. 2, have a smaller family. 3, balance it out. Both parents, father and mother, should take equal responsibility. If not more than that, the husband should play a very big role in this, because the mindset has to change. Otherwise, they will all become single parents. You fight each day, you take divorce, everything is lost. The nucleus of the society is the family, and a healthy family creates a healthy society. And for me, I have a model. I cannot discuss it with you right now, because I have written it. I can send you a copy of it. I have a prescription, a model for the country, for the whole world, how we are going to change our education model come another 20 years. I'm not going to wait till 2035, as people say. I'm not interested. I will see an incremental change every year. I will see to it mid course correction has to be done. I have my own prescriptions, but a costly prescription as of day, it might be 10% of the GDP. But if you work out with the tangibles, you fight narcotics, you fight red tape, corruption, you fight nature's vagaries, you fight polluting nature. The cost that you spend on this is more than 50% of your GDP. If you spend 6 to 7% on education, things will change for good, and the societies will change for good. Right education is the need of the hour. Right teachers is the need of the hour. Otherwise, teachers are creating a genocide. A thief or somebody who has killed somebody can be spared, but a teacher should never be spared. He should be hanged in the public. If he doesn't do his job passionately, he doesn't do, because he's going to create problems for n number of children, not only for his own family, but for all other children. I think this is how one needs to target this. And then if each unit of a family tries this out, and I have a different model where I am talking about the state to be the custodian of all children being born in the country. I have a different take on that, but many people don't accept my thought process. But then it will eradicate all the ills of society, dividing people among religious lines, caste lines, region lines, and dividing people by language, dividing people by color, sex, race. Everything will go. The only thing is, don't change the person who is already 30, 40. Start changing the child. Start giving him the right education from the childhood. And I believe very strongly, come another 20 years, whatever my teachers have taught me will again come back to us, rolled back to us, and we'll have a better society.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for asking me the question.
Sir, good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam. Please tell me. Umaji,
Yeah.
bataiye. Yes.
You said 2 kids is better for family, but I would like to ask one question about this. Suppose elder daughter marriage, she married, and younger daughter is now in the 10th. And whenever we are coming from job or something, sometimes she is in different mood. Sometimes she explore a lot of things. Sometimes she hesitate. Sometimes she is angry because now she is in 10th. Then how I can tackle the things
The
so
first.
that I should, even if I am going for the friendly with her, but suddenly when we are changing, because suppose elder daughter marriage, 1 year back only she married. So how I can do the aspects so that she can change in our platform? Because previously she said, I want to go in medical. Now she is saying in maths. What aspects I have to do?
So I'll answer this question this way. Is it that she is missing her sister? Is it the first point? I'm just trying to understand. Why did you not create a good friend circle for her? Because say every time the parents may not be solving all the problems of the child, but a friend can do that. I enjoy my friends even today. We play together even when we are 50, 55, 56 or 40s. We do that. So interacting with friends, interacting with our relatives do a lot of good to the child. When the child is depressed or when the child has certain questions where she's not getting the answers. I think that's a way forward. Everything, I mean, we have a saying in Telugu that perati mokka vaidyanik panikiradu, meaning thereby the plants that is there at the backyard are no good as far as their medicinal values are concerned. Similarly, children don't take parents to be the real guardians or real advisors, but they find advisors in teachers, good teachers who are considerate and talk to them, and friends who are good. But given a word of caution here, um, these days many children get prey to a wrong information or wrong friends or a virtual friends. You have to be selective with your friends. You cannot take everybody as a friend, because in today's world, more of negativity is there in the society. So we can't really, the parents have to be watchful. The child also has to be watchful in identifying those friends, and then that emotional connect will definitely help the child. You're talking about 10th, because the pressure you have created on the child. 10th should be a happy occasion for the child to finish off her exams and then go to +2 and +2. But you will say, if you don't get this much of percentage, if you don't qualify this, beta, your life will be too much. I'm spending a lot of money on you. You see, if you don't qualify, see what will happen. What will happen? The child will commit suicide, because the pressure she is unable to handle it, or he is unable to handle it. So try different things so that we understand the child at the mental plane, not physically trying to understand their body language or other. So yeah, body language also tells a lot of things. You should be very, I mean, parenting is not a simple thing. It's a very complex thing and a very responsible thing. If you are a teacher, your responsibility is much more than what you are. So you can
Sir,
try
but
this.
we are not pressurizing to the younger one, but she is feeling like that, I think so. Whatever you.
Needs a wonderful counselor. Take her to a counselor. You're not going to counsel her anyway. Bring her to me, I'll counsel her. And that will be the way forward. I mean, online platforms are there. My number, I think I request my organizers to share my number. It's available on the university website also. My university website has got my mobile number also and my email ID also. So you can connect to me through an email, or the child can connect to me through digital platforms. I'm a good counselor. I think that's how the university sees it. I can help you in that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So with this, we'll close this session, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, the way you are delivering the session is simply effective, sir, actually.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, it was very nice talk, sir. We sincerely thank Dr. B.V. Ramana Reddy garu.
Back to my teachers who are watching me live on this show. I thank you very much for making me what I am. Thank you, teachers. Thank you very much.
So we sincerely thank, sir, Dr. B.V. Ramana Reddy, sir, for kindly accepting our invitation. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. So thanks for sharing your knowledge, and you are guided us in a right direction, and it was a most fruitful session, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, I thank you for your motivating, enlightening, and entertaining presentation, sir. Thank you very much. We shall start our valedictory session. So our principal, sir, Dr. Jagpat Raj garu is also with us. So we shall start our valedictory function, sir.
Yeah, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right.
Good evening, Reddy garu. I am Dr. M. Jagpat Raj, and that time I was in civil engineering department, sir.
మిమ్మల్ని పరిచయం చేయవలసిన పరిస్థితి లేదు మా సార్.
That time you are a very good cricket player.
Yeah, I did play, yes.
Cricket lo chala baga adevaru. Ramon garu still is continuing that.
We used to
year
play.
We are getting winners cup, sir. Faculty team. I still remember your game and all these things. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation, sir.
Thank you. and I'm more happy to be a part of this proceedings. I whenever I see my teachers, KVS and Raju Garu, or my cricketer friend, teacher, motivator, everything, I get a lot of encouragement. We feel more of happiness like this. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Good evening, one and all.
Mohan, this is Mohan
Yeah.
from SRKR. You are a big person now, but still I remember you as an 18-year-old student sitting on the front bench, always keen to learn, always asking doubts. Of course, you are still cool the same way. Very nice talk, a wonderful talk. Present day students, they need family connection, sports, personality development, and they should be spiritual. So wonderful inputs you have given. Of course, this talk should have been having parents also, not only academicians.
Yeah, they are equal stakeholders.
Actually, I recorded some of your comments. Wonderful. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Sir, principal, sir, shall we start the session, sir?
Please proceed.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening, one and all. Myself, G. Nagaraju, working as assistant professor in the Department of ECE, SRKR Engineering College, and coordinator for this program. AACT sponsored a one-week national level online short-term training program on innovative teaching and learning methods for inspiring students, organized by Department of ECE, SRKR Engineering College from 18th to 23rd December 2020. Come to an end with the valedictory session with this in this evening. Received an overwhelming response from participants belonging from throughout the country. I welcome you all the dignitaries and participants to the valedictory function graced by Honorable Principal SRK Engineering College, BVRM, Dr. M. Jagapat Raju Garu. Closing remarks will be delivered by Mr. P. James Vijay, Coordinator, Department of ECE, SRKR Engineering College. Please proceed, James, sir.
Thank you, sir. All the sessions were informative. The discussed objects are of great benefit to the participants in their teaching process. Participants were educated on the most widely used advanced methodologies in teaching and learning process. The participants gained fundamental knowledge about innovative teaching techniques. This program was immensely useful for the young and enthusiastic faculty members. This, in turn, will help in motivating participants towards learning techniques for their students. The following feedback was received from the participants from the last 5 days. 86% of the participants felt that the delivery and presentation of the resource persons were good. 90% of the participants were of the opinion that the program brought innovative ideas in teaching and learning process. 90% of the participants opined that the program was coordinated very well. Participants endorsed the fact that such programs should be arranged regularly. This short-term training program is organized to disseminate knowledge on different innovative teaching and learning activities. Faculty members from all over India have registered for this STTP at about 433. On an average, 140 to 160 participants were attending this STTP every day. The participants include academicians and research scholars. Many professors and heads of the departments of reputed institutions are also among the participants. We are fortunate that distinguished speakers like Dr. Ajit R. Thitegaru, Vice President, First Foundation Director, Center for Development of Leadership in Education Private Limited, India, Aurangabad, Maharashtra. Dr. Sonam Bansal ma'am, Assistant Professor at Rao Lal Singh College of Education, Gurugram, Haryana. Dr. P. Padasarathi Garu, Professor, Associate Dean, R&D Publications, ALRC R&D, Department of ECE, KLEF, Vadeshwaram. Dr. A. Srinath Garu, Professor and Head, Department of Mechanical Engineering, KL deemed to be University Vijayawada. Dr. K.V. Subbaraju Garu, Professor, Center for Human Excellence and Leadership Projects, SRKR ECE Bhimavaram. Dr. Ashish Mishra Garu, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, Jagat Taran Girls Degree College, Prayagraj, UP. And Dr. B.V. Ramana Reddy Garu, Professor, University School of Information and Communication Technology, Director Placements, NSS Program, Coordinator, NCC Program, Coordinator, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, New Delhi, India, have already shared their knowledge and made the sessions very informative and interactive. For this valedictory program, we have amongst us Dr. M. Jagpati Raj Garu, Principal of SRKR Engineering College, Dr. BVSSN Raju Garu, Head of the Department of ECE, and heads of different departments. I invite chief guest of today's valedictory function, Dr. B.V. Ramana Reddy Garu, to speak a few words and address the participants.
Thank you once again for inviting me to the valedictory session. I find the program schedule before me. It's a wonderful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 60 sessions that you also managed with your time, so that you balanced out with the classroom teaching as well as the way you conducted this. Probably this should have been done in the morning, because 9 to 11 would have been ideal slot for this. When you compare it with this particular slot that is given. Anyway, it's the way that we need to look forward to. I think AACT sponsored project. It's a wonderful STTP on innovative teaching and learning methods for inspiring students. For me, the child is of paramount importance. Whatever we do for the child is very little, and as teachers and parents, we have to do a lot to our children. And if we don't do, we don't have good societies, and we will not have a good future for our children. For me, holistic education is important. The children should live in nature, should understand nature, flora, fauna, animals, birds, human beings, humanity should be the center stage of everything. Until unless we teach these things to the children, teaching technologies or teaching anything will not make any good to our society. The foundations of this education model should be holistic, personality driven, and technology will naturally come to their way. They are going to learn technologies much better than what we thought by giving these inputs. Give them the opportunity, give them the space, give them the freedom to be creative, give them freedom to do whatever courses they want to do. Don't force children to do what the course that you intend to do. Now we are working on a concept called STEAM, STEAM, Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Management. This team will allow the children to come out of the straight-jacketed model that we have created for the children by mixing music with mathematics, or medicine courses with engineering, so on and so forth. Until unless we do this interdisciplinary approach, we cannot create, we cannot innovate anything. This mindset of a horse having a fundamentally a vision truncated to a one point will not help. Even in SRKR, the civil engineering should take up projects with the help of electronic students, and the electronic students in turn should help the mechanical students in developing an intelligent, or what we call as a smart devices, which will help the I mean, in today's world, ICT is the backbone of all engineering courses, and hence ICT should be in a way integrated into all courses. Don't treat ICT as an engineering discipline. ICT is encompassing everything. We call roti, kapada, makan. Today, roti, kapada, makan, and communication, without which nothing is going to move forward. So with these initial ideas, I congratulate SRKR Engineering College for having taken up this onerous responsibility of conducting a 1 week long ACT driven program. I think it has the desired objectives of the same have been achieved, and I see about 140 participants today in this valedictory function, which shows that everything is so good. everything has reached the people that are intended to reach. And I think it is a success story, and digital platforms should be given all the salute for this particular effort that has been done. But it can be much improved. It can be, what I say is, this has to be more interactive. This has to be more question answer based. This has to be a learning model rather than something just pushing something towards somebody and nobody is interested there on the other side to listen. It's like I'm talking to a wall. Nothing is going to help like this. So with these words, I once again thank the management of SRKR Engineering College and the administrative people, Jagpat Raju Garu, Ramaraju Garu, River Mohan, and then KVSN Raju Garu, and other faculty whom I'm not seeing on the screen. But thank you for all the efforts. And I thoroughly enjoyed my session with you. And if anybody has any questions, please do write on to my email or please the organizers, please provide them the email as well as because I believe in Vasudeva Kutumbakam, we are all one. All the purpose of our learning teaching models should be focused towards the growth of our child. And Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable words and suggestions, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
I invite Dr. BVSSN Raju Garu, Head of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, SRKR Engineering College, to express his views on this short-term training program.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Nagaraju. Am I reaching you?
Yes,
Yes, sir, it's audible, sir.
Okay, right then. Okay. Good afternoon, all. Respected SRKR Engineering College Management Secretary and Correspondent, respected CEO, Director, Principal, and today's our respected Chief Guest, Dr. B.V. Ramana Reddy Garu, Professor, Indraprastha University, New Delhi. So he's our proud SRKR ECE alumnus. He studied and taught here. We are very proud of him. He has given a very wonderful lecture today. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable presence. HODs and professors, dear staff, participants and learners, and good afternoon, all of you. I'm very happy today, so on this finishing day, to welcome and address you all on this occasion of valedictory ceremony of this online STTP on innovative teaching and learning methods for inspiring students. It gives me a great pleasure to me to know that our SRKR EC department has successfully conducted this AICTE sponsored 1 week. In fact, it is 3 weeks. It went on for 3 weeks for the last 3 months, and this is the third version of it, national level online STTP. So let me first thank and congratulate all the participants for their successful completion of the program. So it's my honor to speak to you and to appreciate your passion and sincerity. I know you are here because you want to learn and make a difference in your teaching and education. So I wish you all success and satisfaction in your teaching careers. And as we approach to close the year 2020, so I appreciate your commitment towards educating students and ensuring that the pandemic did not hinder their learning and growth all throughout the year. So I'm aware that it took a lot of efforts to implement and adapt to this new way of teaching. So I commend your tireless efforts into making it a success. So about more than 300 teachers from across India took participation in this workshop. The goal of this program was to train faculty about the new teaching techniques and how to teach effectively and efficiently. So a week-long FTP was just concluded today with plenty of learning and experiences. I'm sure that the program, I'm very confident and sure that the program has met all of its objectives of stimulating the teachers' interest and push them for applied approach in classroom teaching. So finally, with these few words, I conclude with thanks. Let me thank our management and principal for their support and encouragement. I thank all the resource persons for accepting our invitations and contributing to it. I express my gratitude to all our prominent resource persons who delivered excellently, particularly BVR Reddy Garu for his excellent talk today. Very, very excited, and we are very immersed in your topic lecture today, sir. Finally, I commend the efforts of the main coordinator and his team of coordinators, Professor P.V. Ramaraj Garu, Nagaraju, Bhagya Prasad, James, Sanjay, for making this program a huge success. So we are fully satisfied. So finally, so let me say, bidding this very tumultuous year 2020 a goodbye. So let us pray God for an end to this period of uncertainty and bless with a pandemic-free future for mankind. So wish you all a very happy new year 2021. Thank you all. Have a nice time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable words. Now I gladly request Dr. M. Jagapatiraju Garu, Principal, SRKR Engineering College, to address the gathering.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Good afternoon, one and all. Today's chief guest, Dr. BVRM Garu, Professor, University Social of Information and Communication Technology, Head of the Department of ECE, Dr. Raju, and his team, faculty members of ECE, Chief Coordinator, Dr. P. Ramaraju, Coordinator, Sri G. Nagaraju, Co-Coordinators, Organizing Committee, Faculty of ECE, HODs of other departments of SRKR Engineering College, Deans of SRKR Engineering College, and teachers across our country. Very good afternoon, once again, very good afternoon to one and all. Today, AICTE sponsored 1 week national level on online STTP on innovative teaching and learning of inspiring students came to an end. So on this occasion, I appreciate ECE department for conducting an excellent STTP, which is very essential nowadays for the faculty to upgrade teaching and learning and techniques. So definitely we all faculty members, because day by day the education system is changing, the minds of our students are changing. So according to that, we have to update ourselves. So first, for updating that, every faculty should think that he should have a great interest on this teaching profession, and he should treat this as his fashion. Then only we can mold the students. So nowadays, in our generation, only the teacher used to teach lessons in the classroom for 60 or 70 students. But now the teacher has to give so many facilities to the students that we'll call as ICT. Even in the previous, just now, Redigar also told us multidisciplinary is very important. If a student wants to listen music at the same time, if you want to do mathematics, we are able to do that. All these things will be possible only by doing mentoring and counseling. And we are fortunately saying that our college, long back ago, our senior professors, KVSN Raju, Subbaraju Garu, D.R. Mohan, all these great personalities, they are doing this counseling. So when we are doing this mentoring and counseling, we are able to know the problems of the students, even some of the teachers they asked. So even when we are doing our administration, parents approaches us and they will ask us, our children are listening your words, please guide them. So such a beautiful role we are enjoying as a teachers. We are enjoying such a beautiful role, and it is our noble profession. So everyone has to upgrade ourselves. Then only definitely the student will like us in future, depending upon their depending upon their interest, they will adopt the teachers. So if we don't give proper suggestions or guidance to them, naturally they don't adopt that. So nowadays it is necessary for us to provide them skill-based education. Similarly, we are doing hackathons every year. Central government is doing hackathons. So for them, you have to encourage the students like that. We have to encourage in startups. In addition to all these things, moral values, ethics, giving respect to the parents, elders, and teachers are also very essential. So in addition to our regular teaching, if we guide the students like that, definitely they will remember us forever. Even if you see any big person, when they are approaching his own country or his own state, directly they are going to their gurus. Even elementary gurus, they are going to. So such a beautiful role we are having. So once again, I appreciate ECE department for conducting an excellent STTP on this. And on this occasion, I thank the Dr. Ajit R, Dr. Soman Bansal, Dr. P. Parthasarathi, Dr. K.V. Subbaraju Garu, Dr. Ashish Misra, and today's chief guest who has given excellent presentation in all angles. So I thank all of them. And finally, I thank AICTE for giving this wonderful offer, for sponsoring this project. And I also thank our management. So they will never say any, they will be always positive for encouraging such type of activities. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable and supporting words. Thank you, sir. Now it's the time for feedback from the participants. Participants who wants to share your views can express your views.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Any participant? Okay, James, you continue.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
I am Dr. Uma from Mufakanja Engineering College, Hyderabad. I would like to congratulate the organizer. It is a wonderful workshop, and all speakers are very excellent. And a little bit we are implementing actually. And apart from that, whatever we learn, the tools and all, immediately I applied in my classes. Thank you very much, sir. I wish more number of this type of workshops you conduct and invite to all people. Thank you.
Sure,
Sir,
ma'am.
this
Thank you.
is, yeah, sir, this is Dr. Asad Srinivaslu from Sri Vidyaniketan Engineering College, Tirupati, sir. I congratulate SRKR Engineering College conducted such wonderful AICT STTP program. Now, slowly we are adopting all whatever are suggested, and they gave wonderful lectures. We are slowly been adopting our ICT tools into our curriculum. I am sure we are going to use whatever you have explained, the tools and techniques for regarding online teaching learning, between interaction between student and the faculty. We are going to implement in a real-time scenario. Thank you, sir, for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. I'm Ramanuja, Dr. N. Ramanuja from PVP Siddhartha Institute of Technology. I teach for the management students, and I've really enjoyed all the programs that have been there, especially the Dr. Sonal's has added a lot of value to me, because we have already gone through the NAC process and we were able to do the outcome-based education and learning objective part. Today, I was especially happy to listen to sir, because he has focused so much on the fact that counseling is an essential part. And I have found, I've been teaching for the last 24 years, and I have also found it to be true. And listening to somebody at your level saying that this is something we should be doing is heartening, and it boosts our morale, sir, because there are a lot of problems, because we as teachers are expected to do a lot of research nowadays instead of focusing on the students' welfare. But after listening to you, I feel that maybe what we are doing is the right thing to do. Thanks a lot, sir. And thanks for the organizers of the program. They've done a great job, especially in terms of timing. And that is something which you have done very well. Congratulations to the team, SRKR ECE department. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Yes, Sudhir Kumar, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening to all of you. This is Sudhir Kumar, faculty, IHM Jaipur, Institute of Hotel Management. The program organized, it was very nice and well planned, sir. We learned a lot from the sources provided by you people and the faculty members and the resource person you have had, or resource person who delivered the speech over here or delivered the content over here. It was very nice. and it was up to, I believe, for the professional life, it is very important to be up to date. I believe all of us have benefited, and in coming in future, we will implement the resources and we will implement the whatever the guidelines provided by you people, and the techniques we learned over here. That was nice. One thing more I would like to suggest, I would like to say, such activities should be continued, and opportunities should be given to all of us so that we can learn a lot and we can exchange our ideas for the betterment, for the better productivity of the student. Thank you very much for being the part of this session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. I'm Veeramanigandan from VRS College of Engineering and Technology, Veluppuram, sir. The program is well organized. I thank all the organizers and coordinators, and especially our beloved speakers are very well expressed the content of teaching learning methodology, and they are expressed teaching learning is how important for students as well as our society, and the timing is very, very good, sir. Thank you for this wonderful occasion. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, KVSL, sir, you want to speak about the program, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, please, sir.
Good evening to
Thank
all
you.
of you. Professor M. Jagapatiraju Garu, Principal of the College, HOD, Surnarayan Raju Garu, Dr. BSN Raju, other participants. So, I attended two sessions, no, one by Dr. K.V. Subbaraju and today's session, of course, no, of course. So, I have been serving this institution since 1980, and see, I happen to be teacher of Dr. Ramana Reddy, so I'm very much impressed with his talk today. So I just add one or 2 points, no? See, because nowadays everybody is talking about the digital technology and the digital thinking. You know, Ramana has mentioned about the digital thinking. See, we are forgetting that we are living in an analog world, because so much of digitalization and all that, people do not have time to build relations. See, everybody says yes or no, something like that. No, logical thinking has gone, and that is straining the relation. And the most important points mentioned by Ramana, I want to stress here. So he mentioned about the 4 aspects, no, the physical quotient, the intelligence quotient, the emotional quotient, and the spiritual quotient. Teacher plays a very, very important role. Why we are facing problems in the present day world is we are not building our education systems on strong value system. See, what is happening is we are teaching them technology without creating in the minds of the youngsters the purpose of life and the purpose of education. That is the reason why we face so many things, so many unnecessary things or evil things are happening in the society. If you want to bring a real change in the society, teacher plays a very important role. A bad teacher can spoil 2 generations. In any other profession, the damage is restricted to the equipment or the infrastructure, but society will get ruined if we don't have teachers. So teacher's job is a challenging role. So everybody is after money. Money is important, but see that when we talk of physical quotient, all systems, you know, Western systems are based on how much we can make more money. We talk in terms of GDP. Ultimately, we are not worrying about the happiness index. So that's why knowledge is important, and we should be able to control the knowledge. We are trying to incorporate all our intelligence into the machines, and what human being is going to be, I don't understand. So that's why the emotional quotient, you know, if you don't have proper emotional quotients, you will not have good relations with anybody. And the relations with parents are getting strained, teacher-student relations, wife and husband relations. And coming to the spiritual quotient, see, the most important point is we have to live in tune with the nature. See, because whatever we do, we should not spoil the nature. Coexistence of everything is necessary. Animals, plants, human beings. Once we miss and if we assume that all these things are for our material comforts, the society gets ruined, and COVID has taught us enough lessons. So coming to the workshop, it is very well organized. So being part of the organization, I feel proud for a workshop well organized by the cooperation of our principal and the management. And I come to know from the chief coordinator and other coordinators how things are going on. So sessions are very good, and definitely teachers have a big role to play. All the participants, if they can spread the message that, see, we have to build an education system based on human values, then definitely society will move forward. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Oh, thank you, participants, for your valuable feedback. Now it's the time for vote of thanks. The vote of thanks will be delivered by Mr. G. Nagaraju, coordinator of this program, Department of ECE, SRKR Engineering College.
Thank you, Vijay. On behalf of organizing team, I thank the management of SRKR Engineering College, director and principal for permitting and also provide the support for conducting this program. I thank Dr. P.B. Ramaraju Garu, Chief Coordinator for this program, for his encouragement, constant support and guidance at every stage in conducting this program. I thank all the eminent speakers for their outstanding lectures as they delivered. All the sessions are very informative and interesting, and I strongly believe that the knowledge shared in these sessions will be useful to all the participants. I thank the coordinators, Mr. Y. Ramalakshmana sir, Mr. KNV Sachinarayana, Mr. P. James Vijay, organizers, Mr. B. Bhagyaprasad, Mr. A. Harish Verma, Mr. B. Sanjay, who had been working continuously since last few weeks and making this program successful. I also convey our special thanks to Sri B. Sudarshan sir for his timely technical support in conducting for this program. I also thank Dr. Parkraju Garu to bridge this program and AICT to make successful. I thank Dr. A. Subramanya Raju Garu, Head of the Department, Civil Engineering, SRKR Engineering College, for his support in providing the facility in conducting this program. I also thank all the participants for their enthusiasm, cooperation, and professional behavior throughout all the 6 days of program. I also thank all the participants for their inputs in terms of daily feedback, which helped in organizing this program more effectively. Last but not the least, I also thank all those who have directly or indirectly involved and helped in organizing this program. On behalf of this program team and from SRKR Engineering College Association and from Department of ECE, SRKR Engineering College, our special thanks to program sponsor AICTE, Government of India. Thank you all. We will close this valedictory function with a national anthem. So all of please stand up and join. Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे
Thank you all. We'll close this session now. Okay.
Nagaraj garu, overall feedback లాంటిది ఏమీ ఉండదు కదండి?
Hello?
There is nothing like overall feedback, right, sir?
No, sir. The last day feedback itself, it is the final feedback.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
final feedback form will be provided to you, already provided in the chat box, and will provide in the WhatsApp also. The link will be active only up to 8 p.m. I request all of you to submit the feedback and will receive your e-certificates within a week. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir, sir, principal, sir. Sir, we are closing, sir. Sir, BS, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. Sir, BVS Raju, sir.
Nagaraju.
So, shall I close it, sir?
Okay, 1 minute. See that all these videos are archived and distributed to all the participants. So they're very excellent. Okay, well, it's a very excellent program. So see that is ensured. Okay, all are
Definitely,
asking.
sir.
Okay, sure.
Definitely.
Okay. So they'll
Definitely,
be
sir.
very helpful to them. Let's
Definitely,
see
sir.
that is done. Right. So we're done a very
Sir,
good.
also please share the email ID and contact
Yes.
number of all the respected.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, we'll do that.
Workers.
Sure, we'll
So,
do that.
with their permission, definitely I will share their personal details.
Thank you.
I will, without, definitely I will share the links. I already intimated, sir.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank
So
you.
very
Sir.
well done, Nagaraju. Very well done. Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
All of you, organizers.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Right.
We are closing, sir.
Leave now. Take a leave.
We are leaving. Thank you, sir.